Welcome back for another YouTube live show. So tonight, taking a look at the Bellator card. That's Bellator 200 on the 25th of May, and that's in the SSE Arena down in London. Well, just briefly, the guests we have on tonight. So first of all, Welsh superstar Steve Briggs, MMA UK staff member. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
Pleasure.
Thank you. And a man that needs no introduction. Well, unless you're listening to this as a podcast, then he does. It's MMA UK staff member again and owner, Peter Knox. Thanks for coming on, Peter.
I thought this was about. I thought this was sports scene, no Bellator. That's why I put the scarf on. I thought we were here to talk about Aberdeen being the second biggest team in Scotland.
Well, first of all, not the second biggest team. They finished in the league. Let's get some facts right. Bastard. And finally, obviously, our special guest for this evening, is Scottish MMA fighter Richard Dickson. Obviously, you can see Richard's driving there now. Don't worry, all safety precautions have been followed. Thanks for this, Richard.
Yeah, no problem. Hands-free is a fantastic thing, so I'm fine.
Brilliant. So we'll jump right into the card, guys. Obviously, we'll start going through the fights, get some thoughts, opinions, and predictions. So, the first fight we have is Phil Davis, formerly of the UFC, and he's fighting the UK's Linton Vassell. So, we'll get Richard's thoughts on this first. Richard, how do you see this fight going, and who do you see winning the fight?
I do not see Linton doing absolutely anything to Phil Davis. I might be being biased, right? Because I've met Phil in America, Alliance. I've watched Phil train. He's got a fantastic wrestling pedigree. Wrestled at Penn State. He's shit hot, but he's such a huge physical presence. If you look at him and Linton, they're both the same height, but physique-wise, Phil's just on a different level. Do you know what I mean? He was looking really sharp last year, and he's had a pretty decent run in Bellator so far. I really don't see Linton being that big of a bother for Phil Davis.
How do you think Phil? What do you think the key to Phil's win is? Is it his wrestling?
You know what? See, for someone who has got such wrestling pedigree, Phil isn't really a guy that scrambles for a takedown. Like, he's not constantly going for takedowns as if he's fucking dying. Do you know what I mean? I think Eric Del Fierro is a fantastic striking coach at Alliance. I really think Phil was safe anywhere in that fight, and I think really, regardless of where it goes, he can win that fight. Personally, I don't think he's going to finish the fight. I can't see a finish, but I think a unanimous or majority decision is definitely on the cards.
Brilliant, thank you.
No problem.
And we'll go over to Steve Briggs, obviously following on from what Richard said. Again, your thoughts and how you see the fight going?
Yeah, I mean, I go a similar way down the opinion of Richard. I think Linton's going to really struggle with the game of Phil Davis. Phil Davis is a big, strong guy, and he's beaten a bunch of guys that Linton's fought already. I can't see. I mean, Phil's probably weakness out of the two of his things is his striking compared to his wrestling, but I can't see Linton doing enough on his feet to cause a problem with Phil. Even if he does tag him, I reckon Phil's still going to out wrestle him. I mean, I would be inclined to say probably a decision, not necessarily the most entertaining fight of the night. I reckon Phil could drag this into a bit of a boring fight and just try and grind out Linton. But I agree with Richard completely. I can't see Linton getting any form of problem for Phil Davis at all. I can see Phil easily cruising to this and getting himself a higher fight afterwards.
What if it goes to the ground? You don't think Linton will submit him?
No, not at all. I think Phil's wrestling going to be too controlling. He's too much of a good wrestling is a great counter for good jiu-jitsu. Essentially, if you're a phenomenal jiu-jitsu guy, good wrestling will counter good jiu-jitsu any day. He'll smother it, and his positioning will be too good to get caught in a silly submission.
Let me ask you something just regarding Phil Davis. Obviously, Phil came over from the UFC, and the way the light heavyweight division is at the moment over in the UFC with obviously Cormier going up challenging for a heavyweight belt. Obviously, John Jones isn't there. Do you feel Phil could possibly regret leaving the UFC with the way the division is at the moment? Steve, what do you think about that?
Probably not. Having said he is a good wrestler, I don't think he's really up there with some of the elites in the UFC light heavyweight division. There's a lot of guys there who would still be a problem for him. He did look to struggle with some of the elite strikers in the UFC. I think Bellator is a bit of a better matchup for him. He's going to get better runs in Bellator than he would in the UFC. Yeah. Especially if he had to fight someone like DC, I think DC would cause him a problem wrestling wise, but I don't see him having a good run in the light heavyweight division, even without DC there.
And what about yourself, Richard? Any thoughts on that, just to elaborate on what Steve said?
I think me and Steve are fucking singing off the same hymn sheet tonight, to be honest. But,
I think you two should get a fucking room then.
We're the only two cunts in the call that can actually fucking fight. So I agree with what Steve said. I think Phil, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory term because it can be used like that, I think Phil very much would be a gatekeeper in the UFC light heavyweight division. Not because I think new up-and-coming guys will smash him, but Phil will be the guy who's standing at the door to the top 5, the top 10. But I don't see him ever getting that strap. And I think the UFC, especially in terms of paydays, for a guy like Phil, there's probably not a huge difference between the UFC and Bellator. The only reason you'd go back to UFC really is to challenge for that title. So if he's not going to touch that, I'm sure he believes he does. I'm sure he has great self-belief, but it's probably not a great decision for him.
Perfect. Moving on to, this might be one of the most talked about fights in the card for right or wrong reasons. Obviously, we've got Aaron Chalmers fighting Ash Griffith. I'll come to you first on this one, Steve. I can see a wry smile on your face there. Give me your thoughts and opinions on the fight itself. Obviously, Aaron Chalmers getting on the Bellator main card and his opponent, Ash Griffith. What do you think overall on that? And obviously, the outcome of the fight, how do you go?
Have you done your interview with him yet?
I have.
Oh, good, because I'm going to lay into him. Frankly, this is a bit of a... with this whole Bama thing, getting the fights he had, like had the Greg Jenkins and the other guys they put on that, they were the fights you'd expect from a guy who was making his pro debuts in a lower show. But he was making those fights on the Bama card, on the main card, and people got pissed with that. Now he's making his Bellator debut above a guy like Phil Davis and Linton Vassell, who both fought for titles or being champions or what have you. He's above them both on the card. He's fighting a guy who's 4-6 or 4-4, who's on a 4-fight losing streak, all by losses, all by stoppage. Could also fought out of his 10 fights, he's fought 8 or 9 of them at lightweight. So it's another thing. Out of all of Aaron's 3 fights, he's fought guys who are from a lower division with a losing record, who are all just set up to just basically take a hammering from him. Again, with the Bama thing, I could understand why they're doing it. It's a local thing, or like regional show kind of thing, where you can get away with putting a guy like him on. He's big in this country. Pardon me. He's big in this country, and you could get away with that show. But I don't get why a show like Bellator is putting him on the main card above recognised guys like Phil and Linton.
I know why. I know why they're putting him on, because it's now being shown live in Channel 5 because of him. Usually we have to wait 24 hours to watch a Bellator show, but now they've got Chalmers on, it's going to be shown live. That's why he's on.
That to me, I'd imagine Rich would agree with me again on this. It makes a bit of a mockery for guys who are trying to pave their way in fighting and getting paid. That's the issue that a lot of people, if you ask guys like around near me, there's guys like Hammer MMA, Sean Martin, a load of his fighters were pissed because they graft really hard to get high up on fight cards, and they can't, or they're fighting guys for like a couple of £100. Aaron Chalmers comes in, fights a guy on a 4-fight losing streak, gets main card on a huge Bellator's 200 show. If this was a UFC 200, their UFC 200 was an incredible spectacle, the amount of work they put into it. Bellator, their 200 show, they're putting a guy from a reality show on his 4th fight against a guy who's lost 4 fights in a row.
UFC have got CM Punk. What are you on about?
Yeah, but he's had one fight he got absolutely canned.
So
it's the same thing. I'm not saying the UFC are doing it in a better way. They're still doing it, and it's still stupid. But like in terms of predictions, like ignoring the test for this whole shambles, I'd put Aaron Chalmers. He's going to get a win on this. The one thing I do like about Aaron, taking away the fact I don't like how he's being promoted so much, he does come out to finish fights. He doesn't look like, you get a lot of people who come out and they're a bit tentative, who'd be guarding there. He's got a reputation to guard, and he's not going for it in his fights. He's looking for a finish. He hits a guy. He's got that killer instinct. You can see that in his last fight. He hit the guy, and he chased him for the finish. In all his fights, he's finished them, and he's finished them. To be fair, for a guy in 3 fights, he's had 3 good finishes. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
And I feel in this fight, if it's guys coming off 4 stoppage losses in a weight group above where he normally fights, it's going to be a similar thing. First round knockout, probably for Aaron Chalmers again. The guy has got a good punch. You can't take that away from him. He has got a good punch.
Obviously the interview's not out yet, but one thing he did comment on earlier, he did comment in that he's tries to go out and go straight after guys. Now, I don't know if he will do what he told me. He's basically said that they're following more of a game plan, so he's going to be a bit more patient. Now, whether that's what happens once he gets in that cage and the lights are on, but that is something he did say.
I think that's a terrible idea for him. I think if he starts being patient and trying to work to a game plan, that's not what he's done for 3 fights where he's got 3 wins. What's worked for him so far is being patient for maybe them to throw 1 shot and then just steamrolling people, and that works for him. I'd say stick to that if I was him.
The thing is, like, see when people, especially in his such infancy in his career, right? And I'm not talking like I've had a million fights. I've had 6 fights, right? But that's double what he's had. See, in my first 3 fights, I spent time and time planning out game plans, and see, as soon as you hear the bolt on that cage door lock, it's like fucking scheme fighting with somebody in a football pitch. You forget every game plan, and you're just fucking there to fucking be punched fuck out or no. Do you know what I mean? It's that simple for me, and I still feel like that's something, even in the gym as well, when you're sparring, you still have that kind of like instinctual, am I going to get doing here? Am I not? Do you know what I mean? So I think him saying like, oh, I'm going to stick to a game plan, I'm going to do this, it's just to sound like he's got his head screwed on. Do you know what I mean? And it also, if we look past the fact that he's so high up the card, right, which is an absolute joke, that Ash Griffiths could pose some problems for him, because yes, he's been on a 4-fight losing streak. Yes, it's 4 finishes, right? But look at some of the guys from the UK scene that have been like that. Look at like even guys with even to slightly negative records, guys that used to fight in Cage Warriors. You look at guys that, like one of my coaches, Mark Connell, his record's pretty even, right? But he's got sick jiu-jitsu. He can box like fuck. I think records are just a dead thing in British MMA. In America, yes, the country's bigger, but they have a much easier path to the UFC and to big shows because there's more guys willing just to go in and get booted about, more Wesley O'Neills, do you know what I mean? Like, that's just what they have in America, but here the path's harder. And I mean, I remember watching Ash fight my wrestling coach, Kieran Malone, and that Ash Griffiths was like 3-1, 4-1 at the time, something like that. And to be fair, Kieran starched him with a head kick in like fucking 10 seconds or something. But that could happen to anyone, do you know what I mean? So I don't want to discount Ash Griffiths. He's obviously physically smaller. He's being set up to lose. But how many times have we seen guys get set up to lose or look like they're really going to lose and they just go out and fucking pull something out the bag? Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to discount him just yet. You know what I mean? I'd love to see him fucking weld that cunt.
Can I just pick up on the point that Stephen Richard said about where he was in the card? I get what you're saying. Why should he be so high up in the card? But obviously he's got a massive fan base. But a lot of his
from a business perspective, 100%. Bellator can rake in as much money as they want. If I was Scott Coker, whoever the fuck's running Bellator, I'd be doing the exact same thing. I'd be getting them doing fucking nude photo shoots in the city centre. But from a fighting perspective, there's people who are much more deserving of that place than he is. But from a business perspective, I'm not going to look at Bellator and say anything bad about them because they're making the right decision when it comes to making money.
Yeah, but Steve said it was disrespectful to have Linton and Phil Davis below them. I don't think it is, because all his fans are going to tune in for that first fight thinking, well, he's the second fight on the card, and they're going to gain new fans when they watch them fight. So I think it brings better exposure to them as well. I think it's a good thing.
That's a fair point.
Is this a situation where, from a promoter's point of view, it makes complete sense? From a fighter's point of view, a lot of fighters aren't going to like it. Just one of those situations where, like the UFC done with CM Punk, he is a guy that's going to put bums in seats, and he's going to make promoters money. So promoters are always going to push that, and I totally understand when you're saying there is guys out there that may deserve it more, but promoters probably are not going to look at that. Unfortunately, whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, I think that's the nature of the business. And just to give quickly my thoughts on it, the only thing I see it is just brings more eyes to the sport, which somebody that's not a fighter who's working in the media side of it, I like that fact that there's more eyes in the sport. So, but I can understand where fighters aren't happy with it. So there's a few ways to look at it.
Actually, Richard, I've got a question. If you were Aaron Chalmers, what should he do? Should he say, no, I don't want to fight him because he's a bum, I want to fight somebody with a better record? Or should he just go with what his agent and his coaches say?
I guess I would like to know how much actual control he has over guys he fights, because I guess you can't say yes, no, whatever, but I'm sure he is tied up in far more contracts than someone else who's 3-0 as a pro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's probably got a fucking contract for his teeth whitening and his haircut. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's guys I know that are 3-0 as pros that fucking have to labour on building sites just to make sure they can fucking eat something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a totally different world. If I was him and I was in a situation where I thought I was fighting someone that was below my caliber, I would ask for someone better. Yes, it's his first fight in Bellator. I guess, like, that's him just getting in the door, blah, 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 whatever. But, like, I guess it would look better on paper if he was fighting someone who was 3-0 or 4-0 as a pro as well. But the guy he's fighting has more experience, so you need to look at the experience side of things as well. And I'm sure that Ash Griffiths is, in some point in his career, he's maybe had some amateur fights, maybe a K1 fight, a boxing fight, some jiu-jitsu tournaments. He's going to have more than what it appears on, like, Topology or Shared Dog. Do you know what I mean? So I think in experience terms it is good, but if Aaron Chalmers truly believes he's like the fucking next coming of Christ, you would probably think he would ask for somebody a bit better. But it's fucking whatever. The guy's getting paid, probably drives a nice car, probably fucking got birds lining up to suck his toes, so who really fucking cares?
And just before we move on, can I just get a quick prediction? What way you leaning in that fight, Richard?
This is very much a head of heart one for me. Well, not heart really, because I'm not really emotionally invested in it. But, like, I don't know enough about either guy. One, because there's not that much to refer to for Aaron Chalmers unless you want to see him fucking drinking Venoms and, like, can't tie shoelaces on MTV. But, like, I think the experience of Ash is going to play a big factor. Again, I don't see this fight being finished. Like, he's not going to go in. It's not like a 60-kilo ginger kid like the cunt he fought in his first fight, that mad fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like that anymore. He's fighting somebody who's got experience, who, regardless of whether his record is positive or negative, is going to be able to read those situations. So I would like to think that experience will prevail in this one and Ash Griffiths will get the win.
Yeah, you'll learn from your losses. I've just got a feeling we're going to see a Conor Diaz situation, and I think he's going to get choked out. I think there'll be a shock in the card. I think if you take him down, take his back and choke him the fuck out. And I like Chalmers as well. I like him. I think he's a nice guy, and I don't understand all the criticism, but I just got a feeling there's going to be a shock in the card, and that's going to be that fight.
Perfect. So we obviously spent a bit of time in that one, as I thought we would. Just before we move on, let me just have a look. We've got a question come in from South End Oscar. He's asking, what did you guys think of MTK's first MMA event? Peter, any thoughts?
What one?
MTK.
The one in London?
Yep.
Well, I don't know. We weren't there. We weren't able to send anybody down. But I was actually talking to MTK tonight, and they've got a show coming up in Liverpool in June, and we'll get a team together and we'll promote them as much as we can. We've got a lot of stuff on. As I say, we've been that busy this week. We had 4 or 5 live events last weekend. We got ACB, we got a team at, we got a team at Lewis at 1 in Singapore. I've not really been keeping up to date with it. So, but as I know, I heard it went down. It was a really good show, very popular, great fights. But that's all I know at the moment. I will be talking to them over the weekend about how we can support them going in the future.
I hope that helps you a bit there, South End Busker. Obviously, more coverage to come from us with regards to that.
Definitely.
So next fight in the card we're looking at is MVP Michael Venom Page, and he's fighting Rickels. Peter, I'll get your thoughts on that one first.
Yeah, but what can you say? You got MVP. He's entertaining, and he's a good fighter.
Is he Dano a pedo? Is he Dano a pedo? Is that not a thing?
Yeah, there was a thing about that one. There was a court case about that. I don't know what the ending was, but yeah, you're right. There was something there. I don't know if he got done or...
Mad Michael Venom pedo, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. Just as soon as you said that, yeah, no, I remember. I think he did. I think he's in jail, isn't he? I think he got convicted. I'll say allegedly, because I don't know for sure, but I remember reading about that.
You were just talking about that there. You're talking about pedos, and your kid just ran along the back. I just thought that was strange.
That's why I've never heard of David Rickels before. He's fucking David Rickels pedo finder, isn't he? Yeah, this is a rematch, a revenge match or something. Right. Actually, I don't go into stats and look into stuff like that. David Rickels, I've never heard him. I quickly looked at his record. He was like 19-4, and I thought, well, he's experienced. That sounds like a really, really good record. But his Bellator, MVP, an entertaining fighter. But the problem with him is he's been fighting nobodies for that long. When's he going to test himself against the elite? I don't think anyone's going to judge him until he gets to the UFC. Then when I looked a bit more deeper, I found out this guy's not even a welterweight.
Right.
Like he's a lightweight. Sounds like he's been set up for an easy win again as well. So, because how many people do you hear say I train Bellator or I'm a black belt in Bellator? I'm in Bellator. You know what I mean? It's never going to be taken seriously as much as UFC. So until MVP steps into UFC, he's never going to be judged as a real fighter. I like the guy. He's entertaining and all that. But he needs to step up to the fucking plate and sign for the UFC and fight some real guys, and we'll see what he's made of. You never know. This guy might come and bring it. He's experienced. So hopefully he can give MVP a fight, and we'll see a 5-round or a 3-round war. But I can only see one-way traffic, and MVP showboating and taking him out in the first couple of rounds.
Just to pick up something you said there about him going to you, do you feel that a fight against like a Paul Daly would sort of legitimise him a bit more?
Yeah, if they'd done it a bit sooner, but the time this gets set up, I think Paul Daly, I'm not saying he's on the way out, he's got power, he's a dangerous fighter, but I just think if they do end up fighting, he's going to get Paul Daly at the right time.
Right. So you're doing MVP in this one then?
Well, I can't. I hope this David Rickels gives him a fight and gets him on his back. We'll see what he's made of, but I can't see it.
Brilliant. And I'll throw this one over to you as well, Richard. Just quickly, your thoughts and how you see it going.
Yep. To be honest, I like Peter. I don't really know the guy MVP's fighting. To be honest, like MVP's highlight reel was cool if I was like 14 and watching Ong Bak movies, but I'm fucking not. So I don't really give a shit about MVP. I mean, one of my favourite combat sports athletes in the world is Raymond Daniels, and of course Raymond Daniels and MVP have very similar styles, that kind of the freestyle karate style. But I just think MVP's just such a fucking monumentous throbber that it takes away from his actual skill as a fighter. So obviously I'm biased because his dad's a pedo, so I don't really like him. But I just would love MVP to fucking screw the nut and actually he's kind of like a slightly more legitimised Aaron Chalmers, because really he has fought majority of like donkeys. Like that guy he fought when he done that fucking like 360 fucking kick thing and then just stood still and looked at the fucking like camera. You remember that knockout? Like in the front, like stumbles across the cage.
UC MMA,
Mate, the guy that he fought on that was like, mate, I don't even have a word to describe him. Like, he looked like he fucking...
Was it Wes?
Mate, it fucking might as well have been. The club looks like he sniffs fucking sandals for a living. He looks like a fucking idiot. Like, it's all well, mate, I could go and pick somebody on fucking Sucky Hall Street outside the garage and 360 fucking roundhouse them and knock them clean out. Right? But it doesn't make me dynamite. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, MVP would punch me fucking about all day and all night, and then his dad would try and fucking squeeze my arse or something. But like, it's just, I just think he's a fucking almost a waste of talent. Like, he's just that much of a jobby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love the point that you picked up Chalmers there, because at least Chalmers has got an excuse. He's not an experienced fighter, but MVP, he's got no. It's same with that boxing match he done. That was against the fucking nobody as well. That was just a big.
MVP's been doing martial arts since he could fucking.
Exactly.
Since he could crawl. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a lifelong martial artist, so he should really be fighting better guys. Maybe now this is his transition into fighting the top guys, or well, closer to the top guys, because this guy's obviously super experienced, but it's just like, just fucking get a rest, mate, and fight like somebody fucking decent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody will challenge him.
There's a slight theme. Do you feel that maybe Bellator are sort of protecting some fighters where a bit too much, and they're not giving them these stern tests soon enough?
Yeah, well, Bellator don't get the money UFC are, so they need people like MVP to have those highlight reel knockouts.
Yeah.
They need that.
Right, and which way are you going on that fight, Richard? Page or Rickels?
I don't think I know enough about either of them to really make a decision. But, yeah, I think any decision I'd make on that would just be me taking a guess, and I like to be educated when I make a decision. So I'm going to back out. I'm going to say round 3, double knockout. Both were right hooks. That's what I'm saying.
I'm changing my mind. 2 fights in a row, 2 shots in a row. Rickels takes his back and chokes him the fuck out.
You've changed. Oh, Peter, Jesus, that was a big swing.
And then you say, surprise, motherfuckers. That's it.
Right, okay. So the next fight, the co-main on the card, actually a title fight, is a fight I'm really interested in, actually, is Carvalho, the middleweight champion, is fighting Gegard Mousasi. I'll get your thoughts on this one first.
Yeah! I fucking love Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah. How do you see this? How do you see this one going?
Pure Dutch K1 fucking realness. Booting fuck out of him. That's what I see. Carvalho can fucking lick my fucking balls. Gegard Mousasi is gonna kick his fucking cunt in. That's what I think. I love Gegard Mousasi. Ever since he done that live call and was like, yes, your mother is also a whore, whatever he said to that guy. It was just fucking hilarious. Gegard Mousasi is a real legit fighter, and you know what, as much as he is known as being like a K1 fighter and that kind of real strong Dutch style of striking, he's fought some of the best grapplers ever in MMA.
Yeah.
And neutralised them. Like, he's not competed with them on the ground, he's not been fucking passing their guards and fucking competing with them in like a grappling match, but he's neutralised what they're good at. So I think Gegard Mousasi will finish Carvalho, definitely, 100%.
Yes. And just to follow on to that, when you actually, sometimes you forget when you look at Mousasi's record, and you just see something. I mean, like, see names like Fedor Emelianenko on there. Obviously in the UFC, they're really good run in UFC. His last loss was to Uriah Hall, but I think everybody would agree that was just, he just get caught in that fight because he did come back and redeem himself. I think Gegard now is still one of the most well-rounded best middleweights in the planet.
100%.
A great signing by Bellator, by the way.
He beat anyone on his day. Carvalho, he's on a 15-fight win streak, but in my opinion, he's not fought anyone to the level of Gegard. He's obviously fought Melvin Manhoef, but I think in terms of MMA, Gegard Mousasi is heads and shoulders above the company.
Yes, 100%. Melvin Manhoef's a poor man's Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah, I can't see. Obviously, there's a way for Carvalho to win it. He's a powerful guy, and as we've seen with the Uriah Hall fight, you can get caught and finished, and that's just that's the nature of the sport. But I kind of see this. I don't think Gegard's first fight in Bellator was his best. I see him putting in a performance, and I see him putting in a clinic in the feet. And I wouldn't even be surprised if it went down and he caught him with something. But I see Mousasi winning this one, and I just don't think Carvalho can compete with him. I think skill-wise, Mousasi's just a better mixed artist. So we'll move on to the last fight of the card. Cro Cop and Nelson. We'll go to Steve Brigg first with this one. We've obviously not heard from Steve in a wee bit. So
I actually had to check my fucking phone there to make sure he was still here. I thought he disappeared.
I only came on for the Aaron Chalmers fight. That's the only reason I came on for the Aaron Chalmers fight.
The Aaron Chalmers fight is the big talker.
He's trying to get that fight with Aaron. He's currently tweeting him at the moment.
He's trying to call him out. Call him out, Steve. Go for it.
His manager ignores me now.
Call him the fuck out. Let's go. Where's your ball? Come on. I reckon you could take his back and choke him the fuck out.
I reckon I could.
Yeah, well, go for it. Come on.
Right. So anyway, I know Peter's trying to get you to do a call out, but let's get your thoughts on this main event first.
I mean, yeah, this is a fight that it is two older guys. Cro Cop, I'm sure we all said this earlier, Cro Cop's very good in Japan, but maybe not so good out of Japan. It'll be interesting to see how he copes in a more regulated environment as well, especially against a guy like Nelson, who's already stopped him once. I mean, Nelson isn't necessarily, again, like your Phil Davis, isn't necessarily a world beater. He's a good signing by Bellator. He's always an entertaining guy to watch. He has always got that. You're always waiting for that one big punch to land, and Cro Cop has been chinny at points in his career. But at the same time, Cro Cop, if he lands hard. That kick, you can't take away from him that kick around his career. No. That kick is still one of the nastiest kicks in all combat sports. That kick is horrendous. And if Cro Cop's on form, he could be a problem for Roy Nelson. But at the same time, Roy Nelson, A, has that one big right hand, and B, has one hell of a hard head. I mean, I think Mark Hunt's one of the only people to knock him out. But I find it hard to look past Roy in this one. I think Cro Cop, like again I said, outside of Japan where he can get a bit juiced, isn't as great. He always looks a bit deflated. He's on a big win streak now, but again, that's not in any big shows. I see Nelson getting in, throwing that one big overhand punch that he's so well known for, that in his highlight reel, you could just look at it as if it's the same punch thrown again and again and again. But I can see him doing that and landing that and putting Cro Cop away in another show and finishing the show in a spectacular one-punch knockout, and then sitting on the cage and rubbing his big chunky monkey belly.
And perfect, thanks, Steve. And Richard, what do you think about the fight?
So I think this is actually a really great fight. Like, I'm actually really excited about that fight. I obviously was like a fan of MMA during the Pride years in fucking primary school. So like obviously fucking not. But having gone back and watched like old Cro Cop stuff, it was just incredible. And the fact that he was like fucking military or something, like told killed people, so like fucking that's awesome as well. But I think like Roy Nelson, when you talk about that big one punch and all that kind of stuff, Roy Nelson has got ridiculous jiu-jitsu. People forget this all the time. Roy Nelson might look like your uncle after a couple of cans of fucking Coors or something like that, but Roy Nelson can grapple like big time. I think Roy Nelson's big downfall as a heavyweight is the fact he's not got that length that other heavyweights have. You don't really get these like, I don't want to say like fat heavyweights that often. The last one I can think of that was shot like that was Pat Barry, and Pat Barry wasn't that massive. So I think that might pose an issue because Mirko's got really long tools, long range, but I just think Mirko is the kind of guy. I know Roy Nelson has another run in Ellie, he has a run there. But if Mirko hung up his gloves after this fight, that I would have no problems with that. I wouldn't think he's calling it too short. So for me, I think Roy Nelson has more dangerous tools.
Yeah.
But not discount Mirko Cro Cop in any fight against anyone in the world, because I know he's capable of serious damage to guys.
Yep, perfect. Just to pick up something you said there with regards to Roy's jiu-jitsu, do you feel that's something that's kind of hurt him in his career because he hasn't used it as much as he could have, with it being such a high-level ground game he has? Obviously, I know he's had a very, very successful career, but I think he's leaned on that right hand quite a lot throughout the career. Do you think it's something he should have, maybe looking back, used a bit more, or he will try and use a bit more going forward?
Well, I guess it's not so much like him deciding. See, if you could go into every punch and bomb someone with a right hand, regardless of how good your jiu-jitsu was, you'd go in and do it, get it done, go home, whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's fine. But Roy's physique does not make him like in a good position to wrestle. Wrestling's so dynamic and explosive, and like I don't look at Roy Nelson and then the rest of the heavyweight division, whether it's Bellator or UFC, and go, oh, I really think he could take that guy down. Do you know what I mean? And there's not many takedown artists in the heavyweight divisions at the moment. There's not these guys that are really going in with fantastic wrestling, trying to out-grapple people. The heavyweight division has always been the spectacle of two really large guys and one of them's going to get knocked out. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it's like Roy Nelson's problem that his jiu-jitsu hasn't really been tested or shown in any of his fights. It's very much like, would you rather be able to be really good at something and never have to use it, or be kind of shite at something and maybe have to use it? Do you know what I mean? It's great for him that he has fantastic jiu-jitsu, but the fact that he's not had to use it isn't a huge issue, but it would have been an issue if his jiu-jitsu was absolutely like shite. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, perfect. And we'll jump over with obviously Peter Knox. Just quickly, your thoughts and your prediction for the fight.
Yeah, just before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to Johnny Jitsu. He was meant to be our original guest. We were meant to do the show last night. Obviously, he pulled out the last minute, unfortunately, because a close friend died. So I just want to give everybody from MMA UK our thoughts and prayers to you, Johnny. Oosh, the fuck. Right, for Cro Cop and Nelson, I only wrote one word: legends, in my opinion. Obviously, everybody knows about Cro Cop. Roy Nelson, the first time I seen Roy Nelson was on the Ultimate Fighter. Never knew who he was until he appeared on the Ultimate Fighter, and basically that became the Kimbo Slice show. That became, he made that appearance. And the very first fight, if I remember correctly, was Roy Nelson versus Kimbo Slice.
Yeah.
And Richard was saying he's good at jiu-jitsu. If I remember correctly, Roy Nelson smothered him in that fight and just laid on top of him. But I didn't see much jiu-jitsu, but he laid on top of him, and I was actually disappointed because I thought, oh, Kimbo Slice, a street fighter, let's see him knock people out. But obviously he exposed him at that time that Kimbo was not ready for that opportunity. I have to pretty much agree with Richard and Steve as well. I kind of looked into the recent stats. I know Cro Cop's on like an 8-win streak and all that. And as Steve said, Nelson's got a granite chin, and the only person basically to knock him out recently was Mark Hunt. And who doesn't get knocked out by Mark Hunt? Not many people. The way I see it is, I don't think Cro Cop will trouble Nelson at all. I think Nelson, well, you'll look for his overhand, but I think if he needs to, he'll take him down, smother him if he needs to. I can only see one way this fight's going, that's Roy Nelson. He'll smother him with his belly, whatever. But I love it. See, one fight I would have loved to have seen: Roy Nelson versus Brock Lesnar. There was rumours at the time when Brock was fighting that was going to happen. It never did. So I think Roy Nelson would have fucked him up.
I think that would have just been another Mark Hunt where.
No, I know. You know Roy Nelson feigns Kung Fu as well, Steve? He does. He goes on about it all the time. I just reckon he would have fucked him up.
No, perfect. Thanks very much for that, Peter. So just quickly, I'll give who I think will win. I tend to agree. I feel that Roy Nelson will win this fight. I think Cro Cop is obviously. I'm kind of hoping he hangs it up after this one. I don't think he's getting Nelson doing the sport. But when you said legends, Peter, one thing I remember, one of you could maybe remember me who it was an image. I believe it was a pride fight, and Cro Cop landed a body kick, and it was like the leg had almost went halfway through his body. It was a former UFC heavyweight, I believe.
It was Crazy Horse, not Crazy Horse, Texas Horse. Heath Herring.
That's it. He fought probably, isn't it? I can always remember that image, and it just showed you the ferocity and obviously Cro Cop's kicks. I don't know how that would look in Roy Nelson's belly. That would look interesting. But I don't think we're going to see that. So yeah, I think we're across the board though, looking at Nelson for this one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You never know. Cro Cop might surprise everybody. Take him down, take his back, and choke him the fuck out.
Yeah.
Oh my
god. Let's jump back to reality for a second. So. That's the card covered. Bellator 200. Just quickly off each of these. Richard, what do you think of the card as a whole? Do you like the card? What do you think of it?
I think, of course, you can't compare Bellator to the UFC realistically quite yet, right? The UFC's head, do you know what I mean? I think for Bellator, they've put together a great card. I'm seeing loads of fights in Bellator that I'm sure fans of MMA 10 years ago would have loved to see, but I've not got many issues with that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's like washed up guys or whatever, but these fights that you go, oh, would I like to have seen Fedor and such, or Mirko fight, blah, blah, blah. You're getting to see these fights now, and I guess it's better late than never, do you know what I mean? So I think Bellator in the whole are doing a good job at the moment. I just think they need to become a bit more fucking user-friendly and start broadcasting their shows a bit better, and then they'll really start to pick up the viewers, and obviously then the finances, get better fighters in, and that'll be them.
Couldn't agree with you more with regards to how they broadcast their shows, especially for youth fans. It's an absolute bollock trying to find a Bellator show, and there's it's just so.
Well, you can thank Aaron Chalmers because it'll be on Channel 5 next week live.
We'll see. Hopefully, that's something they run with. I'd really like to see Bellator shows being a bit more accessible to UK fans. It's already a pain in the arse watching UFC here. We having to stay up, but we know where to go and we know where to find it. Just quickly before I move over, Richard, what's happening with you? Tell us what's going on. How's things at the gym? What have you got coming up?
Things are okay. I've not obviously fought since December. I'm probably not going to fight again until the tail end of the year. I'd like to get back out, maybe at the Grip House home show at Oran Moor. That would be fantastic if I could get an outing there. But I'm just training and doing stuff that I find fun now. I think I was taking everything maybe a tad too seriously last year, and I don't improve that much if I spend every single week an hour in the gym. I just want to fucking smash my head off a brick wall. So I think it was better for me to take a step back almost. Look at the things I'm really interested in just now, whether that be fighting stuff or otherwise. I've been playing more games, back out playing golf with my dad. Do you know what I mean? Stuff that you wouldn't really see in fighting, but I'm still learning every time I'm in the gym, learning loads of new skills. And I'm just looking forward. I feel I'm in a better place mentally now to compete again. So I'm just looking forward to fighting and continuing to have fun and continue learning. So that's what I'm into.
Well, we look forward to seeing you back in there, mate.
Thank you.
And getting you back on this. If not, what I would say is you're entertaining. Very fun evening. It's been good. I'm actually glad you come on, mate. It's been really enjoyable having you on.
Thank you. I'm glad I could share some patter with you.
Yeah.
Apart from Steve, Steve's got no patter.
Hey.
That's just a south of the border thing.
English.
Whoa. That makes me sound English.
He's a Welshman. It sounds English, exactly.
I can sound whatever accent I want.
No, but I go there. I want to clear this up. Steve, what happened to your Welsh accent? Who was it that took it away? And explain it.
Mackenzie Dern.
I can't even compete with that, can I?
You know what? There is not a better way to end this show than on that. On Mr. Steve Briggs, now known as the Welsh Mackenzie Dern. Perfect.
I'll take that. I'd probably miss weight as well. So
good quickly before we go.
You look like you would miss weight.
You
look like you would miss weight.
You're such an arsehole, Peter. That's shocking. Don't speak about a man's weight like that. So yeah, before we obviously go, just like to thank everybody that's tuning in and watching this. And as always, guys, if you can hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, that's very much appreciated, and it really helps us here. So call it a night, Nat. Thanks everybody for coming on.
Not a problem.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.